What's going on, YouTube? Thanks for tuning into the channel. Welcome to Dak Attack, coming to you with a video here about how to get her back, and then also the concept of mental point of origin. But let me get to the first point just to kind of set it straight. How do you get her back? You don't. Number one. So the concept here is mental port of origin. This is something that I've called before I had a name for it, calling creating yourself as the anchor. And this can be in many different realms. It could be with your job, it could be with your family. It's just the most prevalent that you see on the internet is with women, when you see these dudes put up texts to different pickup artists or different people that they trusted and ask, where did I go wrong? How do I turn this around? Or something to that effect. And whether it's like a failed relationship, or if it's somebody that they were trying to pick up, or whatever the case may be, they're looking for some sort of way to revive this and turn it around. Now, my answer, as I said before, is you don't. Just because I think that this is all coming from a bad mental place of origin where you're putting it on the other person, which in those other cases, as I said, career, family, etc., you're putting them as the mental port of origin and not yourself. So the first thing with these situations is generally there is no saving them. How you acted and how you were reacting and how you portrayed yourself is the reason you are put in that boat. The amount of effort that you would need to turn that around for the reward that you're getting is not going to be a great ROI. So that's another concept that you'll probably realize with me, is that a lot of the terms that I come from are very economical in their aesthetic. It's not the word, but in the types of words that I use, the way that I describe it, because that's a lot of the way I think, which I'll get into at the end. But the first concept is you don't. What you number one need to do is create yourself as the mental point of origin and be looking at this from, how do I move on from here, not how do I do something to placate someone else. And that's generally the mentality that this type of behavior is coming from. So number two on this is move on. So the move on piece, this is going to be more specifically to women and girls, and it's the idea of being a sports fisherman. This is something I got from Patrice O'Neal. If you've ever seen Elephant in the Room or listened to the Black Phillip show, he goes on about this, but I think it's the greatest analogy that I think most guys get caught up into. So you have to look at yourself as a sports fisherman. So number one, being a sports fisherman is different than fishing to eat. You know, fishing to eat is, I think, where most people go, and they will catch the most rotten fish, the most fucked up bass, eating mercury poison, and they'll eat it and they'll hold on to this and be like, I don't want another fish. Even after they're seeing that this fish has now been rotten, they've already pulled all the meat off the bone, it is not the same fish that they caught prior. They want to hold on to the fish because they're scared that they're going to starve to death. So that's the number one thing you need to let go. You're not going to starve to death. There's plenty of fish in the sea. And what you need to do is you need to catch fish, and you need to keep catching fish. Now, there are going to be some fish that you catch that are going to flap around your boat and not want to hop back. But you got to catch and release. You want to let it go. You know, maybe you find a great fish, but before you pick the fish that you want to eat for the rest of your life, you have to try many different fish. And if there's a fish you caught and maybe it was on the line and it fell off the line, maybe your fishing tools aren't good. Maybe your boat isn't fast enough. Maybe your line isn't strong enough. Maybe you don't have good bait. You know, a lot of the issues that people talk about, you know, it might be your equipment. So there's two things here. Well, actually, I'm just going to get into one. The second thing on this analogy, because I can keep going farther with the analogy, will be a whole topic of another discussion. So we're talking about your mental point of origin. So your mental point of origin needs to be your boat, your fishing pole, your fishing bait, and your line. With that being said, the efficacy of your equipment is going to be completely tied to the level of fish you can catch. You can't catch, you know, big barracudas in a fucking push boat. You know, you need to get your equipment right, and that's what you need to be focusing on. Is whatever your method is, and I'll go through catch and release and catch and hold in another context. But if you ain't catching the fish you want, or fish are falling out of your net or your line, your issue is not the fish, and it's not that line that's already ripped. You got to build better equipment. You got to rehab your boat. You got to rehab your fishing poles and your thing, and that should be your mental point of origin. You, because you are the boat. You are the fisherman. You are all of that. So, you know, maybe it's your talking skills, maybe it's your money game, which I'll get into a second, maybe it's your social circle. Those are all of the different tactics you have, but the main thing is the boat, the foundation, the thing that you're riding in, the thing that keeps you afloat, the thing that keeps you from drowning and fucking living with the other confused ass fish. So the number one thing you want to do is have a good boat. How do you have a good boat? Focus on your economics. That's what's going to build your boat. That's how you build, you know, a formidable, you know, tank that no matter what the seas, no matter what the economic seas are, the pandemic seas, 2008 housing seas, the coronavirus seas, or maybe a World War III sea, is like, as long as you have a good boat, you will always be afloat, and you will always have fishes to catch and eat and put down your throat, you know? So that is my main thing, is that if you catch yourself in a situation where you're like, what could I have done? How do I get them? Well, not what could I have done. If you're like, what do I do to get them back? Just know you're giving away your power, because I've fallen into this. I know a lot of people fall into this, and I see it all over the fucking internet, of people asking these questions on like how to get their girlfriends back, how to get these people back. She cheated on me, she did this. And you just got to understand that your equipment wasn't attractive enough to really catch that fish. And the problem is that you need to just work on your equipment and go look for better fish. Maybe that's not the type of fish you catch. Maybe you're allergic to catfish. Maybe catfish is not good for you. You know, it's a bottom dweller. You need to go to the deep seas and catch some good fish. You know, some tuna, some flounder. Okay? I'm gonna stop at the analogy here and get more into real talk. But like, if you don't have yourself as a mental point of origin, you're just going to be going every which way, no matter what. You're going to have nothing to show for it. I don't even want to get into intergender relationships in terms of, you know, the female psychology and stuff like that. Let's just focus on your psychology here. Is that you need to be focused on what you're going to do. Jobs are going to come and go. You know, people are going to come and go. People in your family are going to come and go. You're going to have different relationships with people in your family, and definitely relationships with women are going to come and go. And you cannot be swayed by their value system to adopt the new value system from your own. You have to have your own values. You'll have to have your own direction and own things on the direction that you're going, or else you're going to end up with a fucked up boat that can't even catch water. That can't even float on water. It's sinking, and you can't catch no fish. And then all you have is the fucking fucked up catfish that you caught 10 years ago that has rotted, and it doesn't look, smell, or taste anything like it did the day you caught it. And I see a lot of people running into that and then chasing this fucked up rotten fish to the depths of the earth, posting it on Facebook, simping themselves in front of everybody. And don't let that be you. So that's it for this one. If you like the content, like, comment, subscribe. You fuck with the vibe. Welcome to the tribe. Till next time, peace.